every time we have, usually 99% of the time we have a bidding war of people, and a lot of times they do get more than what they're worth, but it's not contingent on that. So, if the house only is appraising for 300 and they gave 400, that buyer would be responsible for the difference. And also the buyer pays the commission. So there's no commission coming out of that. A lot of times the buyer pays the commission in what's called a buyer's premium.
Hey, it's Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, and you have found the Serving Senior Podcast. And you're in for a real treat today because my friend Todd Taylor, he's a realtor with Keller Williams Real Estate, has a unique twist on a different way to sell homes for seniors. He's going to walk through how an auction would work, the pros and cons, and how that could be a good option for a senior. So pay attention to Todd, what he says about the options with auctions and how it's not just a thing to unload a house. It may be a way to get top dollar for a senior and make it easy for him. And as you know, my company is called OneTrust Home Loans, and we focus on retirement mortgage solutions for clients. And Todd mentions this a time or two during the podcast, but what we do is teach seniors how there's different ways to use their home equity to be able to increase cash flow, to get their hands on some money, and basically use their home as a tool to not just survive, but thrive in retirement. So if you'd like more information on that, my number is here below. But most importantly, please take a listen to Todd. He's going to share with you how the house could be used to make sure seniors thrive in retirement. All right. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Here's Todd. Hey guys, it's Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, and this is the Serving Senior Podcast. This is the podcast where we highlight professionals that help seniors not just survive their retirement, but that help seniors thrive in their retirement. And here at OneTrust Home Loans, we help seniors use their equity so they can continue to enjoy retirement, have that retirement that we all dream of. And we are super, super lucky today. I've got one of my good friends, Todd Taylor, here. Now, Todd's with Keller Williams, and he has some interesting real estate options. He's going to share with us today how he can utilize auctions to make life easier for seniors. Hey, Todd, how you doing today?
Fine. How you doing today? I appreciate you having me on here today,
I'm
Matt.
doing great, buddy. And please let the listeners know where you're from. And if they caught your accent, I bet they think you're probably from Germany, right?
No, they're not.
No, all right. Well, fill us in, Todd. Where are you from? And give us some background.
I'm originally from Chattanooga, but
okay.
I live in Murfreesboro, Tennessee right now, right in the middle of the state.
Okay.
And we help a lot of seniors out by go ahead and consolidate all their belongings. Maybe they've lived in a house 20 or 30 years, and we can come along and do an auction and maybe have a big time collection of Coca-Cola or cards or some type of collection. We could sell all that and sell all their pots and pans and move them on from their house and remove the contingencies of inspections and appraisals and all those make it very easy to set a date, set a time. You're in control as a seller as to when you could close, when the auction would be, and consolidate all that into one and get you to move on with your life, whether it's into assisted living or maybe into another one level home and so forth. Make it really easy rather than the traditional process, so forth. Okay. So we do a lot of that with seniors.
That's great. Now, maybe fill us in, Todd, is maybe some of the pros and cons of the auction. Some people may be thinking, hey, if it's an auction, I'm going to give up a lot of the equity I would have made, etc. Well, so maybe share with that how that works.
Well,
and maybe
a lot of times, usually we need a couple of weeks to get the auction out properly done.
Okay.
I have a great auctioneer who does all the signage, and we call a database of a bunch of people who are interested. And we really only need just 2 people who are interested. But usually we have 20 or 30 or 50 people there bidding against each other in open form in the front yard. And we
Okay.
know for sure that we got the most amount of money when everything is laid out on the table and two people go at it and they gave the most amount of money that the market would bring. It removes the contingency, so we don't have any contingencies of another home selling. No inspections, so if the house is sold, just the way they saw it that day. There's no inspections, no repairs to do with. Then you get to set the closing date.
Okay.
We know we got the most amount of money, and then we go to closing, and then you get all your equity out of your home, and then you can move on to wherever it is you want to move to, whether it's another home or into assisted living, or move on with your life and get that behind you. A lot easier
Okay.
than a traditional sale.
That's a unique option. I'm sure a lot of people, haven't even thought of that, because a lot of people, their mind an auction is where you're fire selling the house, you're just getting rid of it. But it sounds like you guys create a bidding war
We
with the
every
group.
time we have, usually 99% of the time we have a bidding war of people, and a lot of times they do get more than what they're worth, but it's not contingent on that. So, if the house only is appraising for 300 and they gave 400, that buyer would be responsible for the difference. And also the buyer pays the commission. So there's no commission coming out of that. A lot of times the buyer pays the commission in what's called a buyer's premium at the auction. And most of our auctions are buyer's premium. So if you gave 300,000, you really gave 330 for it. And then the seller is not having to pay a commission out of that, so forth.
Okay.
So they get the gavel price, and we take care of all those sort of things. A lot of
Okay.
things to consider in the auction process, but it does get that behind you when it comes time to move on with your life and move on from that property.
Wow. Okay. So make sure everybody caught that. So you're saying that on like traditional real estate, when you
Traditional
sell the
real
house,
estate,
the seller will take that out of their proceeds,
yeah,
the
the seller,
commissions, right?
you as the seller would take, let's say that it's 6%. Now, that's always negotiable, but let's say that I came out to list a house, I get it on the market, you would be paying me a total of 6%. And then you got some repairs to jump through. Then you got an appraisal issue to jump through. And in the auction, all that kind of goes away, and the buyer actually pays the commission, and there's no inspections, contingencies, or appraisals. Now, yes, they can borrow money, but it's not contingent on it appraising for that amount of money. Once the auction, the gavel goes down and it closes, we've got 30 days to close. Usually a person gives $25,000 down and closes in 30 days. So the seller is in complete control. The market comes to your front yard, and we get the most amount of money, and very quick, easy process.
So there's probably someone listening that they're like, mind's blown, right? This sounds amazing. This sounds great. Sounds like great. Maybe share the other side of the coin though. Is there any negatives compared to traditional real estate?
In a negative, we usually don't take auctions that we know are not going to work. Anything can be auctioned. Okay. But I mean, some other properties could be just traditionally sold. That's just a regular, maybe you want to go through that process. Maybe it's anything can be auctioned. So it doesn't matter if it's brand new or if it's 100 years old, anything can be auctioned. But in a traditional sale, you got the responsibility of paying the commission, where in the auction, you do not. So forth, and remove all those contingencies, inspections, and appraisals.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So I guess it also removes the, 10, 20 people coming through your house various days, leaving, etc. It's all,
does.
Is it a week preview, or how?
Well, usually we'll try to do an open house, maybe the weekend before.
Okay.
And usually about an hour before the auction, we open up the house and let everybody come in and look. And then we're off to the races getting the auction done. And we like to do those on Sunday afternoons at 1:00.
Okay.
But just depending on how many we have to do that day and so forth. I have an auctioneer that does about 100 auctions a year. So he's really good at it. And we call a lot of people to get them to the auction.
Okay. That's awesome. Now me, when you said Sunday at 1:00, I immediately thought football. So do you guys take things into account, like football schedule? Is it less busy in the fall during the football season, or people don't care?
They don't care. They show up right after church and they're ready to buy.
There you
And
go.
we get everybody there all at one time.
There you go. Hey, go to church, pray, Jesus, if this is my house, let me win the auction and go start bidding. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. Well, Todd, maybe fill us into on your background. I like to ask, maybe share with us, some of your superpowers, some
Okay.
of your characteristics and qualities that help you help, client, whether it's an auction or traditional real estate, maybe some of the things that help you stand out from the crowded field of realtors out there.
Well, there is a lot of people who do have a real estate license. I have sold about 500 homes in the last 17 years.
Okay.
I do have a lot of forte as far as what something might be worth, so forth. I also can look at some other options that I've come across in insurance and looking out for your money, that sort of thing. But
Okay.
also, you're fixing to either buy or sell the largest asset of your life, and you need somebody who's going to have a heart for you and your family and taking good care of you and your finances. And that's what Todd Taylor brings to the table. So
That's awesome.
a good
Yep.
friend along for the ride, so forth.
That's awesome. Well, Todd, maybe you could share with us maybe a couple stories of clients that you've worked with, maybe their experience, maybe even a situation where it wasn't going well or was definitely didn't look good at points, but you were able to pull it through and how it was able to help the client in the end.
Every deal there will be something that some challenge, whether
I second that.
exactly every deal that we touch, and that on the mortgage side, and I know that on the real estate side. Getting somebody to the closing table is not a flip a switch and it happens overnight. There's processes to do and hurdles to overcome. And I have a lot of Google reviews. I've had previous clients who have come back to me and I think, wow, is this ever going to work out? And it does work out. And because of experience with my lender like you and myself, of knowing all the nooks and crannies of the real estate arena, there's a lot to it than more than just, hey, I want to buy a house or hey, I want to sell a house, so forth. I'm working on a project right now that's a pretty big house on a big piece of property, and it's going to take me about a week to get it all ready, but the house needs to be ready to go when it gets to the market, so forth. And that's one thing that we certainly looked after your asset and doing those sort of things for you.
Man, that's awesome. Yep. So it sounds like you just have really a heart for serving people and taking care of people and making sure they get what they want. And it'll all work out for you if you take care of them.
Absolutely. That's what we do. We bring it. That's why I bring a lot of years of experience in other industries and helping out the customer. And that's the number one reason we're here, is to take good care of the customer.
Yep.
And I know on your side and on my side is to take good care of our people, take good care of their assets.
You're exactly right. That's great, Todd. Well, maybe do you have any resources that you recommend to clients that you could share with the folks listening that maybe they could put to work in their life and pay attention to?
Absolutely. They can go to my website, viewhomesinmurfreesboro.com, if they want to look at houses on the market, or if they want to look at the auction process and if an auction might work out. His website is jamesrcashauctions.com. And look at those and see how that might work out, and be glad to sit down with you and talk about that process of either buying, selling property or so forth. I deal with some commercial properties. I deal with some land. I help people buy land all the time, and that's a little different animal. You need to make sure that it's going to perk. You may not know exactly what that means, but if it doesn't perk, you can't build anything on it. And I get phone calls about those all the time. What kind of road frontage it has and what you plan on doing with it is the biggest thing, where that land might be and what it might be worth. And then, of course, we have a general contractor. We have a general contractor to help build a building or remodel a house or build a house and so forth. So you got a lot of avenues to look at.
Man, that's awesome. So it seems like you bring more to the table than just being a real estate agent, or you don't just show houses. It sounds like you solve problems.
I solve a lot of problems for a lot of different people in a lot of different avenues. We don't just show houses. If somebody came to me wanting to look at certain houses, I sit down and listen to them and what they might want to look at. I'm not just an order taker. If somebody wants a certain house, we need to deal with a local builder. There's a local builder pays $10,000 in closing costs right now.
Hmm.
Need to know where those houses are, who builds what houses you might want to look at, what houses you might not want to look at,
Mm-hmm.
so forth, because my name's going to be associated with that, and I want you to be happy with the product that you got, not
Yep.
just I want you to call me when it comes time for real estate, not you just wound up with a four walls and a roof.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, Todd, what could you give us maybe an example, whether it's auction, traditional real estate of a senior client you worked with, maybe a problem you solved, and then also feel free to share maybe some of the numbers you mentioned on even insurance solutions that you maybe could work on to help as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the biggest thing is my in-laws. They were in a long-term 55 up community, and it came time for them to move along to assisted living. And I got their house already, and we got it sold for top dollar and
Mm.
moved them on, so forth. And some of the insurance products I have, you'll be able to take some of your money and make an income off of it. Maybe an annuity or a life policy that might be able to help you make money along the way. Have a retirement that you'd want to retire into,
Mm-hmm.
not just survive, but we want
Yep.
you to thrive during retirement.
Yep.
I know, and you have a product too that you can take some of their home equity and help them have a great retirement.
Yeah, we sure do. Thanks for asking. So we can use it for a purchase or we can use it for a refinance. And it's a federally insured, I call it retirement mortgage, but the official name is HECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, and it's an FHA based loan. And there's a couple unique qualities. It gives folks a line of credit that they can use when they need it. Also gives them ability to get lump sums if they need it in retirement. And the kicker of the whole thing is there's no monthly payment required. So, an average loan in today's world is going to be $1,500 to $2,000 a month, monthly payment. Newsflash, that cuts into your retirement budget. If you're writing a check every month for $2,000 a month, this basically allows you not to have to write a check. So that way you have more cash flow in retirement. Now, there is some negatives. It is a loan, so there's interest, but most people, by the time they sell the home or pass on, they still have quite a bit of equity in the home. So they get to have that cash, have no monthly payments, and still pass on equity to the next generation. So kind of goes with our theme, Todd, of, not just survive in retirement, but thriving in retirement because you got more cash flow and you're able to have a better time.
Well, absolutely. We want to create generational wealth. We don't just sell houses. You don't just do loans. We
Right.
create generational wealth through whatever tool and resources we might have
Yep.
to help the customer.
Solving problems, helping people pass on generational wealth. Yep. That's pretty awesome. Todd, anything that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you, or other resources that you want to share with people, and maybe even at least share with us what markets you serve and how to get in touch with you.
Oh, okay. Well, my phone number is 615-785-3563.
Okay.
And really all of Middle Tennessee from border to border, there's 17 counties all around Nashville and border to border. So we go almost to Camden and almost to Cookville. So we do a lot of riding and so forth,
Okay.
but we look at a lot of farms. But sometimes people have farms to do something with, the old family farm, and we've got 500 acres to divide up. We just did a farm in the last year over in Moore County. It was 512 acres, had 2 farmhouses, a bunch of barns. It had been farmed for years. And we just spent 3 or 4 months dividing it all up. We divided it into 12 different tracks because it had 12 different perk sites. We got all the survey work done, all the perk work done. We did an auction. We had 80 people there at the auction. And they wanted about $2 million for it. And I think we got them about $3.3 million for that piece of property, which is a pretty good deal. I mean, 80 people, and it wound up with 12 different buyers. So
Unbelievable.
that was a lot of people at that auction who were interested. So in Middle Tennessee, there's a lot of people looking for farms and acreage, and maybe they want 5 acres, maybe they want 10, and that's what we divided it up into. I think the smallest tract was 6. The biggest tract was 60 acres. But there's a big demand for people looking for a lot of Amish people with it. We did it on a Saturday. They're looking to, more farmland. But,
Yeah.
We got to feed all these people somehow. So we need more farms.
Yeah.
There's a big demand for farms and land, and people want to live like the house that I'm fixing to put on the market is 67 acres in Smith County.
Okay.
Because that's what they wanted to build their house on. So there's a big demand for what people don't really realize what's out there.
Man.
If you got an old farm, it's probably worth quite a bit of money around here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, Todd, thanks for being who you are, and thanks for taking such great care of people and focusing on their needs over your needs. And it's a joy to be a friend of yours and to know you, man.
Well, good deal. Well, same here, Matt. I know you've got a heart for people, and that's what we have to do every day.
Yep.
To not only feed our families, but to help take care of the community and a lot of people around us to help us get to where we're going to get to too.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thanks for spending some time with us. And thank you for listening to the Serving Senior podcast. This is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, where we focus on retirement mortgage solutions and helping folks not just survive retirement, but thrive in retirement. So please make sure you go and subscribe to our podcast. Please watch this episode. And please, if you have any questions about what Todd spoke of today, please reach out to him. He's a great guy and would love to help. Thanks again. Have a great day.
All right. Good deal. Thanks.
See you,
Bye-bye.
Todd.
Bye.
Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, home of retirement mortgage solutions. And we really do appreciate you checking out the Serving Seniors podcast today. Now, please go to the description down in the body of the podcast where you can subscribe to get future shows. Please click that notification button so you get notified when other shows drop. And also, if you can go to servingseniourspodcast.com, and we'd love to hear a comment about our show. We have a heart to serve seniors, and we have a heart to make sure seniors don't just survive retirement, don't just get by in retirement. We want to show seniors how to thrive in retirement. So if you know of anyone that's 55 and older that could use some extra cash flow, maybe the retirement's not going the way that they like, our retirement mortgage solutions are designed for folks, depending on the state, they're either 55 or 62 and older, to make sure that they have that kind of retirement that they want. As long as they own a home and they're in a good equity position, there could be some solutions that they may not have thought about, or maybe they've thought of and they just didn't know how they work. That's what we do. So anyone in that age group that could use some mortgage advice, my team and I would love to be able to help them. Thanks again, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. Have a great day.